The ordination of Father Edward Tyler took place on the 26th of June 1971 in the parish church of Griffith, New South Wales. There we have the tabernacle and the sanctuary where the Blessed Sacrament is preserved, the sanctuary where the ordination will take place. The commentator now introduces the Mass, and the altar servers enter the sanctuary, and they are followed by all the concelebrating priests, who will also enter the sanctuary and take their places to the right and the left of the altar for the whole of the Mass. The Bishop Francis Patrick Carroll, now finally enters the sanctuary, accompanied by the deacon and the Master of Ceremonies. The Bishop now receives the thurible, and he will incense the altar in preparation for Mass, while the opening hymn continues, being sung, being led by the parish choir. Priests to the left of the sanctuary in their places, priests to the right of the sanctuary in their places. The opening hymn continues, and the Bishop stands there, and now he proceeds with the opening prayer of the ordination Mass. The first reading, read by Gerard Tyler, younger brother of the one to be ordained, followed by the cantor who sings the responsorial psalm. And now the Gospel is read by Jeremy Flynn, the deacon. There he reads the Gospel. The one to be ordained now moves across the altar in preparation for the sacrament of Holy Orders. He stands in front of the Bishop, kneels now, and receives and hears the questions in which he is asked if he is prepared to undertake the duties and the commitment of the priesthood. Are you resolved to unite yourself more closely every day to Christ, the first priest, who offered himself for us to the Father as a perfect sacrifice, and to consecrate your life to God for the salvation of men? I am, with the help of God. And now all the priests, the Bishop included, kneel as the litany to the saints is sung. The one to be ordained is prostrate on the floor of the sanctuary in front of the altar. The litany is sung, and now the Bishop begins the ordination, laying on of the hands on the head of the one to be ordained. He is followed by each of the concelebrating priests, who also lay on their hands. This is not formally part of the sacrament of Holy Orders, but the priests do this to express their solidarity and union with the Bishop, who himself ordains the new priest. The Bishop follows this by the prayer of ordination, in which he asks that the Holy Spirit come upon the one to be ordained and make of him a priest of Jesus Christ. The ordination is now over. The young man is now a priest, and he is now clothed with the robes of the priesthood for concelebrating Mass. The chasuble is placed on him as he prepares now to join with the Bishop in concelebrating Mass. He kneels before the Bishop, and his hands are anointed in a special way, while the choir now accompanies the whole liturgical action with special hymns. The newly ordained priest now stands in front of the Bishop as he receives the sign of peace from each of the priests. With the sign of peace over, The newly ordained priest kneels before the bishop to receive further instructions and prayer. And now the altar is prepared for the offertory. The bishop makes his way to the centre of the altar, and Mass now proceeds. Again, the altar is incensed with the gifts, the bread and wine, on the altar. We have now reached the Eucharistic prayer. All the priests are gathered around the altar, concelebrating the ordination Mass, with the newly ordained priest to the left of the bishop. The doxology, the sign of peace, Holy Communion. The priests give themselves the Holy Communion, first of all the host and then the cup. And now the priests give communion to the people. The newly ordained priest there gives Holy Communion to the people. To his left is Father Frank Brogy. Now the bishop gives the final blessing of the Mass. And the concelebrating priests now leave the sanctuary for the final procession. And with that, the ordination is over. The altar servers, the various priests, the newly ordained priest there, Father Richard Coughlin, behind him the bishop. The church following the ordination ceremony, the crucifix above the altar. Outside, the priests chat and talk, and the bishop meets the family and friends of the one who has been ordained.